I've got a visitor. He wants to help. Hi there, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the 7th and final video in the restoration series for this Mende Super 250-9. This was a gift from my friend René in the Netherlands. I was a little concerned that I wouldn't be able to do it justice, but I am pleased. And I know this is spoiling it a bit. No suspense here. The radio's done. The video forward, here to forward, is to show you how I got there. I had a few setbacks with this guy, as you know, but the main one, or the one that made the last delay, was everybody's visiting. My wife's making a face at me out here. The last delay was because tubes haven't arrived, and tubes are getting more and more difficult to find. I wanted to change some of the tubes. I think there are a few issues that have to do with that FM tube here, which I don't have a replacement for right now. So that's on order, but I'm not going to wait. And I want to show you how this thing came out. And at the end, we'll do a test and see what the result is. I hope, René, that you're happy. I am. All right, enjoy the video. No point delaying it any further. I've got to dive in here and remove everything that I can from this cabinet so that I can work on it without causing any damage. Obviously, I'm not going to get water or anything liquid near here. I've got speaker to worry about. And the first thing to do is remove everything. So the panel with the grill and the speaker and that rim and everything else comes out. And then we're ready to go. Before carrying on, I'd just like to thank the sponsors of this video, PCBWay. This is the company that I order all my PCBs from. They've got incredible turnaround time. You can get an instant quote right on the website when you order. You'll know exactly what you're buying. You choose all the characteristics of the boards, from single boards all the way through to multi-layers and flex boards and all that sort of stuff. But there's something else I want to draw your attention to, and that is the community. PCBWay has become a community of makers, and I've got quite a few of my own projects on here which are set up so that they can be shared. You can just go there, read about them, and order the board straight away if they suit you. But if you go to the community, there are a lot of projects. A lot of interesting projects, a lot more interesting than mine. So have a look at the website, have a look at their services, have a look at the community and see what there is for you. I'm sure you'll find something. Once again, thank you for your support, and let's get back to the video. And here it is. It's now as empty as it's going to be. I'm leaving that antenna on there. Everything else has come off. And here's the result. Kept all the screws in a little bottle there so that I don't lose them. You'll be surprised how difficult it is to replace some of these little things. The speaker's looking pretty good. It's got a few stains on there, but we can get rid of that. Shouldn't be a problem. So time to get cracking. The one thing that's unusual on this radio is that that metal trim, that brass trim around the front, isn't part of the panel that fits in there. It's actually sort of hammered into a groove on the front. So I've got to remove that carefully. This is usually glued in, but as you can see, it seems that the glue has died, which is good for me because I can get it out without bending it or breaking it. So the idea is you go around very carefully. If you can avoid it, don't use any tools, just use your fingers. And if you can't, well, be very careful. Remember that any damage you cause now will just make it more difficult to repair when you actually trying to get to the actual cabinet itself. And sometime later, everything is out there. Everything came out and I started sanding away the varnish. Now the varnish was pretty loose on there, but I did go down to the wood or to the veneer. There's very, very little damage on the actual veneer and it actually looks pretty good. I like this look. Obviously it's not going to be like this. It's going to get darker, trying to make it look more original. You can see a little patch there that I filled in. It was just a little chip. Very, very little damage. This thing actually sanded quite easily. I didn't have a problem of trying to use or needing to use any kind of, any kind of chemical to strip the paint. It just came out with, I think it was about 240 grit sandpaper, and then I sanded it down again just to make it smoother. But now we've got this out and I can start putting on color, putting on the tint and putting on the varnish, the lacquer, and get it to its, final state. I wanted to get the right tone on this. I had to give it some coloring. I tried a full power version on the right hand side of this particular material that I found. It's Nordmende, which is, cherry, I think it's called. And it came out a bit dark. So I toned it down a bit with water. It's water-based, so you can dilute it. And I think the one I'm going to use is the one on the left. And here it is. It's been coated and dried. I like the color. I like it. I should have possibly diluted just a bit more, made it a little bit lighter, but I like it. Now, another thing that I like to do on these radios is I like to paint that black trim at the back, the black border at the back. Make sure that it's neatened up, because usually, it's usually a bit scruffed up and people think, well, yeah, you don't see that. But I prefer to have it nice and cleaned up. I mean, you got the rest of the radio done. Why not do this? And I found this paint, which is an artist's paint. It's acrylic, but it's water-based, so you can wash it off your brushes, which is always a plus. It's got another advantage. It's actually quite thick, so one layer gives you a perfectly black coat, and it dries in matte. It comes out matte, which is exactly the way I want it. So I do the entire back of this thing. Got to be careful when you paint the edges that you don't go to the side, because obviously the side is now the one that's the wood that's showing, so you don't want to mess the sides at all. But yeah, just take your time, do it carefully. I've got kind of used to doing this, so it starts looking fresh even from the behind. Well, folks, here's the final result. I skipped quite a little bit of the process for the simple reason that I've had a pretty serious problem trying to get tubes for this. I don't know if you know, but getting tubes these days has become quite difficult, at least expensive. And the result of, world events. I don't have to go into those details. The press does a pretty decent job of it. But I needed some fresh tubes here. There's some here that I don't have in stock. The EM34 there, the Magic Eye. I'm waiting for a couple of substitutes for that. There was the EF80. Can't remember now. The FM tube there that I wanted to replace as well. So I haven't got fresh tubes, and I think this needs fresh tubes, which you'll probably agree with me when we do a test. It is not as sensitive as it should be, but cosmetically, this thing came out really nice. I mean, compared to what it was before, you saw it. I thought that we'd have to probably accept second best, but it came out pretty well. Not as good as Dave Tipton, but good enough. It's looking fresh, the grill cleaned nicely, all this cleaned up very, very well. And you see that trim over there after it's been put back, it's in perfect condition. The grill, the logo there, surrounding the Magic Eye, really spiffy, really, really spiffy. Let's have a look at the back. Everything looking fresh. As I said, the Magic Eye still needs to be replaced. Soldered the antenna wire up here, which I'd removed, and the speaker wires. It's looking good. That transformer looks pretty original to me. In fact, it's the same type. So as you know, we got that replaced without a problem. And as I mentioned, the EF80? The FM tube needs replacing, I think. It's a bit weak, but I don't have a replacement for that right now. I'm actually running out of all tubes. So I've put out some orders, and I'm just waiting, as usual, to Madeira. We wait a lot. So yeah, that's what this looks like at the back. Let's give it a try and see what reception's like. Okay, let's give this a demo. I tried this earlier and I got practically nothing because it was early afternoon, but now it's early evening. So let's see what shortwave's got to offer.
And there's two styles. One is either made out of paper mache, or another one is made from coconut shell.
That's pretty good. That's a 25-meter band. That's pretty busy. And of course, as it gets later, the higher meter bands get more and more busy. So yeah, the shortwave is very, very good actually. Let's try medium wave.
De emergencia climática y luego pues que también tenemos que ahorrar.
This is Canary Islands. And I want you to notice something. Listen to that.
Que a lo mejor no son tan confortables, pero
there she is again. There she is again.
Todo lo que ha ocurrido en Mariupol.
I think that might be a different one. Another one from Canary Islands. And what you heard here was, I think there are two stations that are repeating themselves at various frequencies. Now the reason for this is the Canary Islands, there are various islands. Let's say you've got two stations, main stations that have repeaters on various islands. The fact that I'm sitting, 600 miles away, if I receive one, I'll receive the other. And that's why I get repetitions. It's got nothing to do with the antenna or anything like that. I'm used to that. Now let's try long wave. It's a bit early for long wave, but we'll try it anyway. Just pick up something here on 198, which would be BBC 4. Something there. Not much. FM, let me try change the antenna. Okay, we're on FM. Let's try from that end. This is actually 86, it's very low.
Todos os partidos lamentaram os números da abstenção.
Okay, we've got it. FM was not that great because I think it's got to do with that front end tube there. I should normally get quite a few more stations along here, and some of the ones I got, I should get a lot clearer than I'm getting right now. So the sensitivity is not as good as it should be, and probably as good as it will be when I change the tubes. But nevertheless, it's not bad, not bad. Okay, and that brings us to the end of this project. And I'm actually quite relieved that I managed to do this one. I was, I had a few problems, as you know, with the transformer and then trying to get tubes and waiting and everything else. But the one thing I was dreading was actually the woodwork here. I thought I would not get that to look good. I think I surpassed myself. I'm very pleased with this result. And I hope you, René, are pleased with the result as well. René, thank you for the gift of this radio. René sent it to me as a gift, and I hope that I've done it justice. I'm not going to hang around waiting for tubes because I don't know how long it'll take. I received a package today that I ordered 4 months ago. Just so you can get an idea. We can never really know. Sometimes it arrives in less than a week. Sometimes it just, gets dumped somewhere. So I never know how long things are going to take. But as far as I'm concerned, the restoration work is done. All I need to do when I get the tubes is just change them out and do a final testing. I may have to do a little alignment when I change the tubes, because when you change the tubes, think about it. You're changing an element of a tank circuit. It's got its different capacitances and inductances, so it can actually throw the alignment out slightly. But with that method that I think I figured it out, I think it works, that I just put the cap on top of that tube to do the alignment, I'll probably be able to do that without much without much effort, without even taking this out of the cabinet probably. It'll be interesting because this thing, you got access to the back, which is great. So once again, I think that's it. That's the end of another project. Another sad day when it ends, and a happy day when a new one begins. I've got a few things to do. I've got I received some parts that I needed for the GRUNDIG Satellite 650. So I might be doing that next, but I did want to put this one to bed. I did want to show René the results, and I wanted to show you guys the results. My apologies for the delay. As I said, things happen. And I certainly hope that you got something out of it and that you enjoyed the series. So once again, if you liked it, click like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can do so on Patreon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now, and stay safe.